Chris the Nightmare Real, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man, so I just want to do a little quick heavyweight roundup. In this video, I'm going to talk about some prospects, some of the guys you probably never heard of, but I've done videos on all of these guys. But just want to do a quick roundup, man. December 10th, we know there were some big fights going on. Joshua, Molina, Chisora, White, Ortiz, Allen, that huge card. Then we had some other even non-heavyweight fights going around, Terrence Crawford. So under the radar that happened December 10th, TREY Morrison improved to 13-0. He got another stoppage on his record, second round TKO over Ty Cobb. I did a video about it, announcing the fight, and I even said that TREY Morrison and Ty Cobb familiar with each other. There's sparring footage of them from about a year and a half ago on YouTube. So he got the second round TKO. I got a link sent to the somebody sent me a link to the stoppage when he knocked him out or knocked him down, and it was a left hook that did it. It's pretty ironic, right? His father was known for his left hook, but we know that Morrison has heavy hands. The thing that I was concentrating on the fight, or the things that I was paying attention to, that I was concentrating on, was his weight. He came into his last fight with Ed Latimore, a fight that was on Showtime, on Showbox. And he came in at 221 pounds, a little over 221 and a half. So I want to see what his weight would be like for a fight like this, and he came in at 232. So he didn't come in grossly out of shape. It's not like it's his career high, but he didn't come in the 220s like he normally would. But he got the victory, did what he was supposed to do, and he will be on a televised card first quarter of this upcoming year. That was the plan from his management. I did a video about that when his management came out, and we're just talking about his future plans after the win over Ed Latimore. They were both undefeated when they fought. TREY was 12-0 and Ed was 13-0. But so TREY should be back on television, I'm assuming on Showtime. But they said they have some offers, so I guess we'll sit and wait to see who he's going to fight, who the opponent's going to be, and which station he's going to fight on here in the States. All right. Speaking of Ed Latimore, he will be back in the ring this upcoming weekend. He will be taking on Willis Lockett. I've never heard of Willis Lockett, but Ed Latimore is a guy who I've done a few videos on, even before the matchup with Morrison came along. Ed Latimore came out of that All-American heavyweight camp that was out there in Carson, California. Guys like Dominic Brazil and Charles Martin and Gerald Washington and a few other guys. So want to see Ed Latimore bounce back. I like his style. I think he probably get a few more wins under his belt. You could probably throw him in there with the LaRon Mitchell type or Adam Konaski, some other up and coming 13, 14, 15-0 type of prospects. I wouldn't mind that fight for him if he strings together a few more wins, get that confidence back up. And when I say confidence, just to get back on a winning streak. I'm not saying that he's short of confidence. I've listened to Ed Latimore speak on a few videos. He has some videos up on YouTube, man. So, I mean, just, getting some wins back under his belt and see where he goes from here. Another guy that'll be in action December 17th is Arnold Gjergjaj. I know a lot of people are probably like, no, not that dude. We do not want to see him. He'll be taking another fight in Switzerland. It'll be his first fight back since that situation with David Haye. I mean, obviously, I'm not the one in there getting hit with right hands and hooks, right? I totally understand that. But a lot of fans, including myself, we just got a sour taste in our mouth from that Gjergjaj versus David Haye fight, man. But Gjergjaj is a guy that I actually did a few videos on him months before the David Haye fight, before I even knew he was fighting David Haye. And his record always stood out to me, 29-0. And I was like, man, maybe if this guy leaves Switzerland and actually try to, get a fight against a fringe contender type, we can see what he has. But he went right up to David Haye, and yeah, that happened. So he'll be back in action though this Saturday, man. I'm just curious to see if he'll get back in the win column. He's fighting a guy named Jasmine Hasek. I've never heard of the guy. The guy's 8-1. So I guess we'll see what happens with that if Gjergjaj gets a victory. Also, December 17th, Robert Helenius is back, and he will be fighting against Gonzalo Basile. Basile's a guy that has close to 80 fights, or I think he has over 80 fights, but all his fights pretty much have been in Argentina. So I expect Helenius to roll in this one. Helenius, this will be his second fight this year. Well, his third fight, but his second fight since his loss against Johan Duhaupas for that WBC silver title. Duhaupas has went on, and his career is going forward. He's getting ready to fight Carlos Takam. So Helenius got a setback, so he's back. Third fight of the year, but second fight since the loss. I expect him to look impressive and take care of business against Gonzalo Basile. Basile's over 40. I think he's like 42 years old. So I expect Helenius to control the pace and try to get a stoppage. You know what I mean? Try to impress and get a stoppage. Adrian Granat will be in attendance. Somebody sent me an article. A friend of mine sent me an article, an email rather, explaining to me how Helenius is going to be ringside with his Swedish manager, Christer. What's the guy's name? Christer Inkvist. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. Hopefully I am. But he's going to be ringside to watch Helenius. I see they've been going back and forth with each other. Granat has a fight coming up in March, so hopefully he's not overlooking the undefeated Bogdan Dinu, a guy who I've done a video on, Romanian fighter, strong fighter, man. Him and Granat and Dinu kind of fight similar. They like to fight tall. They like to use the jab and set up everything with the jab and try to find a home for that right hand. I think Granat left hook may be a little bit better, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, Granat will be ringside. When I came out, I did a video a few weeks ago, the top 10 Nordic heavyweights, and I had Helenius number 1, number 2 Granat, and number 3 I had Otto Wallen. So to me, these are the top 2 Nordic heavyweights, the Denmark, Iceland, Finland, Sweden, and Norway area. So it's gonna be interesting, man, to see how that all plays out. If Granat will, if they have anything to say to each other after the fight. I know Granat has that IBF international title. We know Granat's undefeated Swedish prospect. He's called out David Price, Dillian White, Huey Fury, all those guys. White responded to him. I think he's the only one that responded to him and said, hey, let's set the fight up. This was in the summertime. So Helenius will be back in action. All right. Then also on December 17th, you got Jermaine Franklin, 8-0 undefeated American prospect, 7 KOs. He'll be back against Adam Collins, who was 13-12. So a journeyman level guy with some experience. Jermaine Franklin's only 23 years old. I did a video on him a while ago. Haven't done one in the last 6 or 7 months, I know for sure. But he'll be back in action. He was a very good amateur on the national scene here in America. Beat the likes of Cassius Chaney, a guy who I've done an interview with. And I think he's one of the top American prospects right now, along with Jermaine Franklin. But he beat Cassius Chaney in the amateurs. He beat Cam F. Awesome in the amateurs. We know Awesome is he's won a plethora of national tournaments, man. But he was able to defeat him, which was a very impressive win in the amateurs. But now as a pro, he's 8-0. He's a shorter heavyweight, but he has good hand speed. He can fight coming back and going forward. He's not just your come forward short guy. He actually has some good boxing skills, man. So I'm going to keep an eye on Jermaine Franklin, but he's back in action. December 24th, ANDRIY Rudenko be taking on Jason Bergman. Now, some of you Joseph Parker fans say, hey, I know Jason Bergman. But yeah, Rudenko versus Bergman. I'm expecting Rudenko to win, like all of us. But I think that Bergman will take him some rounds. Hopefully nobody gets cut in this fight, right? That nobody suffers a gash or a cut. Something about Rudenko, man, the way he positions his head when he jumps in and out with his combinations. You put Rudenko in there with somebody that likes to come forward, you can make for an exciting fight. Or somebody they can clash heads and cut each other. It's just Rudenko's style, man. He's just a rugged guy. Good fights with Lucas Brown. He also fought Huey Fury. He's only 2 losses, but Rudenko's a tough guy. He's a tough guy. He's a shorter heavyweight, but he is a tough dude. and he is rated number 15 by the WBC. I wouldn't mind seeing Rudenko fight like a David Price or ANDRIY Warrijic. Both of those guys are both all rated by the WBC, the bottom half of that top 15. I know David Price is rated by the IBF, the WBA, and the WBO, so I'm not sure if he wants that fight or not. But I would love to see Rudenko versus Price. So I'm expecting Rudenko to get past Jason Bergman on December 24th. Bergman, southpaw. He knows how to survive. He'll try to, walk Rudenko into traps, because I'm thinking Rudenko's going to come forward and he's going to put Bergman on his back foot. So Bergman will be trying to counter with those left hands, and he knows how to survive. He's a tough dude himself, but I think Rudenko should coast in that one and get at the very least, a decision win. So just a quick roundup, man, on some under the radar type of fights and fighters. All right, so you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out.